It's official. I'm DNFing Katabasis. Katabasis? Whatever. I made it to page 267 before I was like, I just can't do this anymore. I think my reasons for DNFing fall between these like 3 reasons. 2 of which have to do with the book itself, and then 1 of which just is because of me, obviously. So I think the book was like so cool in its premise. I liked the characters, even though they were kind of unlikable characters. I also appreciated that they were kind of unlikable, and I also appreciated that they were graduate students. It was a really cool blend of a lot going on in this book that I did actually like. However, it was the presentation or execution, if you will, of the contents in this book, and then also the pacing. I'm putting the book down because it's kind of heavy. I've heard a lot of people complaining about the information overload in this book, and I kind of agree, but I kind of disagree. I actually personally am such a nerd, like a total slut for info. I liked all of the information that R.F. Kuang gave us in this book. I think it made sense in terms of this like urban fantasy magic system that she had going on, and I also really liked it just in terms of like the characters and the setting, because these characters go to Cambridge, so the information was like fine, but the presentation of the info as well as the presentation of like what happened prior to these characters sojourning in hell was just it felt so like dislodging. In the first like 100 pages, R.F. Kuang gave us information about like science-y stuff or theories and all of that as she was telling the story. And then she put in chapters like what happened previously before the story even takes place. And it kind of acted like a flashback. I wasn't mad at it. After those first 100 pages, she dedicates these chapters to literally nothing. It's just rhetoric. It's bombastic. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, it does not fit with what is happening in the book. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but it literally felt like if I asked you to come over to watch the first Harry Potter movie, and then immediately once the characters are about to like play this chess game, I pause it and start talking to you about taxes for 40 minutes. That's what it felt like. And then as soon as I resume the movie, your brain is now thinking about our conversation on taxes and how that fits with the movie of Harry Potter and why I could possibly bring up taxes at this point. And then you forget about what was even happening. How did they get down there? What even happened prior? This was a really cool scene and I forget all of it. That's how it felt. It felt like just random chapters in the middle of this book. And I don't understand the reasoning. I don't understand why we needed this information. I don't see why this like memory of Alice's is important. It just seemed so bizarre. And it just took me away from what was actually happening in the story, in the main plot. The presentation or the execution just could have been better and less jarring. Secondly, the pacing. I had such an issue with this even from the get-go. And it took me a while to understand that I was like, oh, it's the pacing. I'm having an issue with the pacing. The scenes that are really interesting and cool that are happening as these characters are in hell are written so fast. They're over and done with in the blink of an eye. It was like, whoa, this is really cool. Oh, it's over. And then other parts of this book just went on and on. It was so long-winded and like nothing was happening. It was like, well, just drag this on for a while. Like, why? Pacing just killed me. It just got to the point where I'm like begrudgingly reading this. Thirdly, and I don't want to leave this out, this October I have like so many books on my TBR. I think the pressure of like wanting to read so many books this month might have just been the wrong time for me. I remember thinking when I first picked it up that I wish I was just reading this book and not like 3 other books at the same time. So that way I could really immerse myself and really get into what was happening in the story. I do think that like my own mood and pressures that are self-imposed really kind of took me away from this book. So I do want to mention that perhaps this is a soft DNF.